This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's jump into it. The 2006 run is what we're discussing today. And the first Monday Night Raw of the year sees John Cena main eventing with Kurt Angle in a non-title first blood match that sees Angle wind up victorious. It turns into a schmoz with Carlito, Daivari, Chris Masters, Kane, and finally Shawn Michaels all running out. And the show goes off the air with Cena hitting the FU on Shawn Michaels. Let's talk about that for a minute. The use of blood on Monday Night Raw. I don't know that we would see that very often these days, but in the old school, that was an almost go-to whenever you knew, hey, we need a hot angle. What if we could turn the volume up and involve the use of quote unquote color? When do you remember that first falling out of fashion with WWE?
Not long after this. The intent was to get away from the gratuitous violence and the blue humor, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And be a little bit more family friendly. So the ruthless aggression in this era, what it was called, was simply a search for something to replace the Attitude Era.
Right.
That's all that was. And so consequently, I think after that, the use of blood was very selected. It's very not. It wasn't overused. So and Vince always had a soft spot for some guys who needed or wanted to do color for their angles. The thing about blood is that if you don't overuse it, it's not like the 80s or the 70s. If you don't overuse it, Conrad, then it's a great dramatic effect. It will, oh, look at that. Oh, look, he's hurt. It's like I would suggest to you that in that match we had on AEW several weeks ago now with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, that the use of blood in that women's match was a shock and got people talking, and mostly in a good way. But it exhibited and demonstrated the violence and the aggression that the women had. And so, but if we did that every week, it would mean nothing. So luckily, I think that we're in a situation where we're not going to overuse it. But I know WWE was in that mindset too about this time. So it was anything that we could do to keep the show edgy, but not Attitude Era-ish. So, but somewhere right around this time, and there was still blood, don't get me wrong, but it was very selective. It was very, very, it had to be a right place, right time for it to work. And because they wanted to get everything was all about the sponsors. And you can't blame them for that. We love our sponsors here. We take care of them. But if we were doing something that was so heinous that it was offending our sponsors, I would, if you asked me for my vote, I said, well, let's change a little bit. Let's tweak what we're doing, because let's take care of our sponsors, because they keep us on the air, quite frankly. So in any event, it was about this time we started pulling back on the use of blood, but we didn't eliminate it totally.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.